Good marketing makes the company look smart, whereas great marketing makes the customer feel smart. There is a very thin line difference between both of these. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another series of podcasts. This is for the people who were continuously asking us for a podcast to be arranged for marketing domain. Yes, we do have marketing enthusiasts around us. Even you could be one watching this insightful session. So, welcome everyone. I am Chandan Palwar, a student from IIM Shillong, and I'm very excited to welcome our today's speaker. He is yet again one of the finest industry leaders in marketing domain, Mr. Ishan, a delivery manager at Google. So, hi sir, how are you doing these days?
Good, yeah, Chandan. Industry leader. I'm already embarrassed, but yeah, अपनी तारीफ किसको अच्छी लगती ghost.
Still, you are at a great place, at a great position, at a great company. So, definitely, you should be titled in that case. I believe. I do believe that.
Thanks, thanks, yeah, Chandan.
Okay. So, like our audience would be really interested to know more about you, like interested to know the journey you have been into this place. So, you're student to a professional candidate. So, we would like to know much about you.
Do you want me to start from the beginning?
Yeah, definitely. Like a bit about you, that will be enough for us.
I can quickly tell. I mean, I'm currently a delivery manager at Google. So I'm leading a dynamic and brilliant team, and together we service premium customers in EMEA with best-in-class digital solutions. So this role, I would say, essentially falls under the category of program management, but in a digital advertising space. Overall, I have like over 11 years of experience, and like I was telling you before this podcast, like I've worked across a variety of domains, which started off from software development to analytics to digital marketing and also program management and operations now. So yeah, that's how it started. So I did my graduation, which is engineering in 2009 in computer science, and worked for some while, and then I did my MBA from Great Lakes, I think in 2012 or 13, and then post which I've been working.
All right, that's great to hear about you. Like I'm sure the audience must be also curious to know what is delivery manager, like as in position. So, what do you define delivery manager? How do you define
So,
it?
like I said, I mean, this role essentially falls under the category of program management, which essentially means that I need to interface with different stakeholders within the company. So, for example, I interface with sales. I understand what their broader objectives are, what targets are they carrying, what revenue targets are they carrying, what clients are they managing, and how can my team help them with campaign optimizations. So, essentially my team, like I think we have two broad objectives. One is increasing customer revenue, increasing revenue for Google, and then second would be how do we improve customers experience. So to achieve these two, I have to interface or liaise with multiple teams within the organization. So right from sales to engineering to operations to even vendors. So that's how this overall ecosystem works.
That sounds like amazing. You have explained it in such a detailed manner, and there must be people who must got confused by your explanation. But definitely, to make it an ease for all of us and all the audience who are watching currently, is that the delivery manager is the position which is basically interrelated for the companies and works for like other domains also, and under a marketing domain only. Marketing roof is the roof that delivery managers lies between. All right. So, well, it was really
So I'll give
encouraging.
you like, I'll explain it like in a bit. So for example,
Yeah.
like I said, so my broader category is program management, and you can find program manager in multiple other companies and organizations. So within the same organization, the different departments would have different program managers. So for example, I am program manager in the marketing space or sales space. Whereas, for example, my wife, who's also a Googler, is a program manager in the hardware space. So essentially, what program manager does is their job is to work across different teams to achieve an overall objective of the organization. So if you compare it with a project manager who is handling one project, assume that program manager handles multiple projects. So he or she has to work with many teams. So in this case, because I'm a program manager in digital advertising space, so that's where my overall experience lies.
Nice. It was really encouraging for all of us to know about you. Like, we are even more excited to know about your visions and goals in life.
Yeah, my vision has been like fairly simple all through my life, which has always been to stay relevant. Um, and of course, I'll not shy away from saying that money has also been a big motivator. Okay, so the simple vision is that I always want to stay relevant, keep learning, keep up with the pace of what is happening in the industry, keep learning, uh, so that I never get out of job. So that has always been my vision, that how do I stay relevant and how do I make sure that I'm on top of everything.
Like, quite smart answer. Such small and crisp. You have answered in such a way. All right. So, like, we also want to understand, like, I want to know, like, why you have joined marketing as in career. So, what made you choose this domain? And also, what are the possible challenges that you face in your day-to-day life working as a marketeer for Google?
I think I'll have to explain my entire history behind it, because very often I get this question on how I switched my careers from software to analytics to digital marketing, and more importantly, like how I got into Google. I think my LinkedIn is also flooded with messages of people asking me for career advice, and how did I do this, all these changes in my career.
We would love it.
So, like
We
I
would
said,
love to know. Yeah.
yeah, like I started my career as a software developer for Infosys. Worked there for like 2.5 years. Post which I decided to do my MBA, because I think I was done with developing that product, and then there was nothing new for me to learn. So even though I was working outside India, earning good amount of money, but I still thought, can let me do something else. So I decided to pursue my MBA, which was in Great Lakes.
Okay.
During my MBA, I was introduced to the world of statistics, analytics, market research, which was quite fascinating for me at that time. Okay, so even at that point of time, I was not very much interested in marketing, to be very honest.
All
I
right.
didn't take a single elective in marketing. एक भी इलेक्टिव नहीं लिया था मैंने, बिकॉज मेरे को लगता नहीं था कि मैं कभी मार्केटिंग में जाऊंगा. बट मेरे को नंबर्स वंबर्स स्टेटिस्टिक्स एनालिटिक्स में अच्छा लगता था. सो आई डिसाइड टू परस्यू दैट एज अ करियर ऑप्शन, and with Mu Sigma, which is the, at that point of time, the biggest analytical firm in India. So that had come to our campus. So वहाँ पे I got the on-campus offer. ठीक है, and they were the leaders when it came to providing data analytical services. Now I worked in Mu Sigma, which was a great learning experience. Like I got a lot of exposure to machine learning, data sciences. Was given responsibilities which were like far above my age or experience. Okay, so as a result, like I learned and matured very quickly. Now the projects that there I was working on were more into customer segmentation, customer analytics. Okay, so that was my profile at that point of time. Now, obviously, like after working there for some time, it was more of a startup like an environment. So थोड़ा stressful life भी था वहाँ पे. And like every other parent at that age, they were pushing me to get married.
Oh,
And I knew कि उस एज उस वर्क लाइफ स्टाइल के साथ I cannot get married. So I decided to change my job, and I landed a role with Tesco, which is UK's largest retailer.
okay.
यहाँ पे भी I would want to tell you, like I had a couple of offers at that point of time, uh, but the manager who interviewed me for Tesco, आई थिंक आई रियली लाइक दैट पर्सन. उसको देख के लगा कि हाँ इसके साथ काम करना चाहिए, बंदा बहुत स्मार्ट है, मैं भी इससे बहुत कुछ सीखूंगा. तो आई थिंक वहाँ पे पीपल एलिमेंट आ गया था. लाइक आई वाज रियली इंस्पायर्ड बाय दैट पर्सन. सो आई वाज हायर्ड एज अ लीड फॉर देयर ईमेल मार्केटिंग एनालिटिक्स टीम वहाँ पे. So essentially, because I was coming from an analytics background, they hired me into their analytics team, which was essentially doing an analytics for their email marketing team.
Okay.
Okay, wherein my responsibility was leading a team members and deciding the targeting of every email campaign that was going out to their customers. Okay, so this was my first exposure to digital marketing.
All right.
And the only commonality between my roles in Mu Sigma and Tesco was the data part, which is by that time I could write those R and SQL codes in my sleep.
Okay.
So all the work that I did on customer segments in Mu Sigma came in very handy there. Okay, so I started leading their analytical side of things.
Okay.
Slowly, with the help of my team and my manager, like I said, who was a great person. Like even if I get a chance to work with him today, I'll go back and work with him blindly. So I learned about marketing a lot वहाँ पे, because I was working for the analytical side. Then slowly आपको पता चल जाता है कि अच्छा दूसरी teams में यहाँ पे क्या कर रही हैं. So within email marketing, they had different teams. One was doing operations, one was doing web development, or then there was one which was doing that entire campaign design and would start design templates. So slowly I started learning everything about these teams. And by the end of that my tenure, I was fully leading their entire digital marketing efforts, covering analytics, creatives, and operations. So if I had wanted, I could have restricted myself to the analytical side, but I was curious enough to understand कि लोग बाकी लोग क्या करते हैं यहाँ पे. So by the end of my tenure, like I said, I was leading that entire digital marketing function वहाँ पे, but it was mostly into email marketing because rest of their marketing channels were fully outsourced. So this was my first exposure to digital marketing. Then suddenly one day, I think in December 16,
Yeah.
I got a call from Google.
Okay.
तो उन्होंने शायद LinkedIn पे देखा था, मैंने कभी अप्लाई नहीं किया था. So they reached out saying कि we have a position, would you want to interview? And they were interviewing for the position of something called as search specialist.
Okay.
Because search specialist is someone who, let's say, manages or optimizes campaigns on Google search. So whenever you search something on Google, you see those ads on the top, correct?
Right.
So search specialist is someone like who is responsible essentially for managing that, and who is well aware कि पीछे क्या algorithm चल रहा है, इसको कैसे optimize कर सकते हैं, कैसे better कर सकते हैं.
Got it.
So I was quite surprised given I had never worked on Google Ads before.
All right.
ठीक है, and I had no idea कि how that the entire Google search works. But still, because it was Google, I said yes, and then I started preparing for those interviews. Luckily, after 4 or 5 rounds, I was done. I got the offer. And I decided to join Google. Again, the common link between Tesco and my Google role was my exposure to data and digital, even if it was only email marketing. So I had nothing to do with Google products, but thoda digital background tha because I was coming from that email marketing experience.
Right.
So I was still able to draw out all my learnings or all my experience into the questions that they asked in the interview, because only the marketing channel was different, but बाकी चीजें तो सब same ही थी. So that's how I got into marketing.
Like it is so surprising to know about you. Like you didn't even had like one elective in marketing in your like MBA journey. So it is so strange to know that you are like one good day you got a call from Google in 2016 and you are hired as like search specialist, and then now you are a delivery manager at Google. Like this is something that people might not believe actually, because it is like people used to work for like used to take electives in marketing to get into marketing role, and also pursue for like so many courses or certifications in marketing to excel in marketing, so that like companies do recruit them. It's so I'm amazed right now. This is so cool.
See, one thing I would say is like I said, I've changed roles every few years because I am genuinely curious by nature and I like to learn new things.
All right.
And my advice also is that if you want to make a career change, keep building your knowledge base. Think broadly, analyze your current skills and consider how they might be transferable to your new job.
All right.
Okay, so for example, even in this case, I knew that my skills, analytics, numbers and ये सब है.
Yes.
And what am I bringing to the table, to that team?
Yes.
A lot of times होता क्या ना कि when we appear for interviews, हम लोग हमेशा ये बोलते हैं कि मुझे क्या मिलेगा ये जॉब करके.
हाँ.
Right? We always say कि अगर मैं Google जाऊंगा मेरे लिए कितना अच्छा है, मेरे ब्रांड नेम आएगा, मेरा ये आएगा, मेरा वो आएगा. तो ये तो बताओ ना सामने वाले को क्या मिलेगा तुम्हें हायर करके.
Right.
So you should always highlight ki what are you bringing to that table.
Okay.
Because a lot of times they also need that fresh perspective. Someone who is coming from outside will definitely bring a fresh perspective.
True.
And till date, like मेरा strength है analytics numbers. I can always leverage that. Even today, I leverage that. ठीक है, but then slowly and slowly I also started learning new things. So for example, even in the email marketing thing I told you about, right?
Right.
I could have happily stayed in that analytics team and led that team only. But मेरे को इंटरेस्ट था. I started speaking to the other team members कि यार तुम लोग क्या करते हो, तुम लोग क्या करते हो, क्रिएटिव्स कैसे आते हैं, ऑपरेशंस टीम कैसे काम करती है, तुम लोग कोडिंग में क्या करते हो, हाउ डू यू क्रिएट दीज डिजाइंस. तो इफ यू शो इंटरेस्ट, आई डोंट थिंक एनीवन सेज यार मैं नहीं बताऊंगा तेरे को. So a lot of times people just ask me कि यार मेरे को डोमेन चेंज करना है, बट मेरे को नहीं पता. So I honestly I've asked this question to so many people कि तुमने कभी अपने खुद की मार्केटिंग टीम से जाके बात किया कभी कि what do they exactly do? Have you ever sat down with them to even understand what they do on a daily basis? Do you know what they do?
Sounds interesting.
And after listening to them, do you even consider कि मेरे को ये करना भी है कि नहीं करना है? So once you start talking to a lot of people, you will realize कि यार इसमें मेरे को जाना भी चाहिए कि नहीं जाना चाहिए. So for example, the current role that I'm doing in Google also, इसके लिए भी I spoke to a lot of team members like within this team to basically to gauge कि मेरे को ये करना चाहिए, like what is the future looking like for this role, will it be a good career transition or not. So ऐसे ही सीखते हो आप.
बहुत ही बढ़िया. लाइक मैं तो अभी यही सोच रहा हूँ कि यू हैव अ अपर हैंड इन एनालिटिक्स साइड, मशीन लर्निंग साइड. सो व्हाट डू यू बिलीव, लाइक आपको एनालिटिक्स लाइन ने कैसे हेल्प किया इन मार्केटिंग डोमेन? सो कैन यू पुट सम लाइट इन ऑनटू दिस?
I would say a couple of things. So for example, whenever we are designing campaigns or whenever you're creating campaigns, I think I'm able to look through the analysis कि इसमें क्या हो सकता है. I think my analytical skills are very helpful in understanding in forecasting. Let's say doing forecasting is what is the kind of revenue that we can get, or what is the kind of sales that we can drive for customers. Or even let's say once the campaigns are run, these analytical skills are very helpful in understanding कि performance हुआ कैसे है, are we doing the right kind of comparisons or not. And then when you're creating all those plans, चाहे business plans हो, or even let's say simple things like automation, because I started, like I said, I started out as a software developer, so which means I knew coding and I did my BTech in computer science, so I was pretty good with coding. Right. So I'm able to automate a lot of my stuff also. तो जो आपके skills होते हैं, they always come in handy. Definitely. So even in my team today, they call me automation expert. So अभी a lot of people would say कि यार MBA कर लिया तो why do you do coding? But then I'm actually saving 80% of my time in not doing those redundant jobs. I've automated them, so I can spend that time in doing something else. So जो भी तुम्हारे strengths हैं, जो skills हैं, you keep polishing them. उनको भूलना नहीं चाहिए. Of course, you keep on learning new skills. But I would say they come in very handy at different points of time.
All right. So I think I should call you an expert from now on. No more sir, no more ifs and buts. Directly.
नहीं यार.
All right. So what do you suggest? Like people should pursue machine learning or some analytics course for getting into marketing jobs or not? Like
not necessary. Like
okay.
Not necessary. So for example, within digital marketing, you have different kind of roles, and I would say beauty of digital marketing is that it has something for everyone. Okay, so if you're someone who loves social media, then you can opt in to become a social media marketing professional.
All right.
If you're someone who is highly interested in coding, then you can become a web developer. So there are plethora of options in this field. So अगर आपका creative में interest है, then you can go into content writing. If you're interested in designing, then you can become graphic designer. अगर आपका analytical mindset है, like how I had, then you can become a data analyst. ठीक है, so your roles and responsibilities would vary whether what kind of role you are picking. So अगर आप SEO analyst हो या social media executive हो या web developer हो या data analyst हो, so it will vary. So I wouldn't say कि ये digital marketing में जाना है तो data analytics course कर लो. So if you like data analytics, if you love numbers, if you see your career in data analyst, then go for it.
Go for it.
Then you can be data analyst for a digital marketing domain, or you can be data analyst for a financial domain also.
Right. So in short, it is not necessary to have a analytical background or have an analytical course or certification kind of thing to get into marketing thing. So that I think most
नहीं है, जैसे for example, like none of my team members or colleagues come from data analytics background.
If they must be from a like data background, then you must not be an expert now. So you are an expert for a cause.
हाँ, तो मतलब every person have their own strengths here. Like
True.
and each of us are valued in our own way, like in the team.
True, sir, true, absolutely true. All right, so now I think we would be running towards like most insightful question. So what are the standard roles and responsibilities that come forward and come in your particular domain that you're working with?
So, I mean, again, it depends on role to role.
All right.
So, if you अगर कोई SEO executive है, for example, search engine optimizer, then his or her major role would be like how can their website be displayed organically and in a better ad ranking on Google search page or any other search engine.
Right.
If someone is a search specialist, SEM specialist, let's say search engine marketing specialist, something that I was doing previously. So their major role would be around how do they create those perfect search engine marketing campaigns? How can they optimize them better? How can they align it to the business objective of their company? Or if they're working for a client, then us client ke liye, how can they achieve those objectives? So each role that you take will have their own set of roles and responsibilities. Broadly, anyone in digital marketing should understand the digital ecosystem. Common digital metrics kya hai? How are these channels different from each other? What value is each channel bringing to a client? So, for example, LinkedIn might be relevant for, let's say, client A, but not for client B. Similarly, social media can work for certain set of clients. It cannot work for certain set of clients. So, ये clarity होनी चाहिए, but I think rest of the things you can learn on the job.
Quite insightful. Okay, so let's proceed to one of the I think one of the main question that all most of the students might be having while pursuing MBA or most of the working professionals also. So according to you, what could be the skill set that a person should possess within himself or herself to get into marketing job?
Yeah, every job will require certain specific skills for that industry. So if you want to work as an architect, obviously you'll need to know how to use drafting software, let's say.
Right.
For someone like me, you'll need to understand different digital marketing tools and metrics related to all the channels like SEO, SEM, apps, video. So if you have that basic understanding and if you are genuinely curious by nature, then I think you are in a good space to enter digital, because digital marketing as a domain is changing so fast. So you always have to be updated, first of all, on the new trends, and then you have to show that kind of an attitude. You are also learning every day. Okay. Like I'll tell you कि जो Google Ads है, for example, उसी में इतने सारे changes हो जाते हैं 6 महीने में. Like हम लोगों को इतना पढ़ना पड़ता है उसमें कि आज ये चेंज हो गया, वो चेंज हो गया, and then you have so many competitors also.
Yes.
So you always have to keep yourself updated कि क्या क्या हो रहा है दुनिया में, what is happening in digital, what is the new space, new thing that is coming up. So I think if you're genuinely curious, if you have that learning capability, and if you're aware of those basic things कि common digital metrics क्या हैं, what are the different channels available, I think those things should be good enough.
All right. So according to you, we just need to update ourselves. We just need to be open for learning, open for new opportunities that might arrive, open to people, open to discussions, to learn more about the domain and more about everything. So according to you, it is not restricted to particular skill set. So this is as wide as a broader picture, right?
करेक्ट. तो नेक्स्ट टाइम अगर YouTube पे ऐड आए तो उसको स्किप मत करना, उसको बैठ के देखना कि वो ऐड वैसा क्यों.
अभी किसी में इतनी पेशेंस नहीं है unless and until
वही तो
वो
दिक्कत है फिर.
right patience.
So if you notice कि उसमें भी काफी सारे डिफरेंट एड फॉर्मेट्स होते हैं ना, कोई आपको 6 सेकंड का ऐड दिखता है, कोई 10 सेकंड का दिखता है, कोई 15 का दिखता है, कोई 20 का दिखता है. सो ऑब्वियसली देयर इज अ रीजन बिहाइंड इट.
या
तो कभी ध्यान से देखोगे तो समझ में आएगा.
हाँ मैंने कोशिश की है समझने की. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू मी लाइक जिसका जैसे कोई YouTube चैनल है और वो YouTube चैनल फेमस है, काफी व्यूज आते हैं उस पे, तो आई थिंक YouTube का एक ऐसा एल्गोरिथम है, वो वहाँ पे एड्स जो डालेगा तो वो ऐसी एड्स डालेगा जो काफी लंबी ड्यूरेशन के लिए हो. अकॉर्डिंग टू मी लाइक अगर वो एक स्टॉक मार्केट पे चैनल है तो वो ग्रो की ऐड करेगा, जैसे यूट्यूब जो है वो ग्रो की ऐड करेगा उस पर्टिकुलर चैनल पे, एंड ही मेक श्योर इट विल मेक श्योर कि वो ऐड जो है वो थोड़ी लंबी रहे, क्योंकि उसके जो व्यूअर्स है वो काफी टाइम तक वो उस मतलब व्यूअर बेस काफी अच्छा है उस यूट्यूब चैनल का अकॉर्डिंग टू मी. बाकी आप बताओ.
So I mean there's no generalization, but it all happens at the back end. Like you said, it is algorithms, it is analytics.
Okay.
तो कोई मेरे जैसा आदमी होगा जो पीछे बैठ के उसमें जिसने एनालिटिक्स कोड लिखे होंगे टू मेक श्योर कि द राइट कस्टमर्स आर सीइंग द राइट काइंड ऑफ एड एट राइट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. तो अगर if someone is watching a finance channel, then obviously they might be interested in looking at those financial ads. तो इसलिए आई थिंक वो कस्टमर मैपिंग होती है. एंड वो एडवर्टाइजिंग में भी नहीं होती, यूट्यूब होम पेज में भी होती है. लाइक इफ यू ओपन योर यूट्यूब एंड यू कंपेयर इट विद माय यूट्यूब, ऑब्वियसली इट विल लुक वेरी डिफरेंट. And that's all because of the back-end analytics and customization that is happening for each and every customer.
Right. Here personalization comes into a bigger picture.
Correct.
All right. Got it. So like we are getting so much lessons from you, Mr. Ishan. It is so like nice talking to you. So just a midway break for appreciating you for your efforts. I'm sure it would be benefiting most.
No, yeah, thank you. I hope I'm making sense and I'm not going haywire.
So you're talking practical, like it is so practical to know about analytics part, and also it is not, YouTube was never a syllabus for our this particular podcast session. So you added your own views, so it is really appreciable. All right. So, like coming forward to definitely. So now coming forward to one thing in terms of recruitment part. So what do you suggest? According to you, people must be having less experience or must be fresher in that case. So what companies prefer? So companies do prefer a candidate who have experience like so for 2 to 3 years in marketing, or they also hire fresher people for your marketing domain. So what is it exactly about?
Yeah, they can hire freshers. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. So for example, for entry level jobs in digital marketing, which is like SEO analyst or SEM analyst, definitely the companies can go and hire freshers because those skills I think can be learned. But yes, obviously if you are planning to move into a mid management or higher management, then they would definitely want experience on it. But if you're just starting out your career, which is like a very entry level job, to wahan pe they can go for freshers also.
All right. Okay. So what about the people who are having their experience in different roles or different domain? Like people having an experience in so forth like finance. So what do they have an opportunity to shift their domain into marketing?
So uske liye wahi same cheez like I said earlier. Yeah. You will have to tell them ki what are you bringing them.
Okay.
Or how can you be beneficial for them. Right. So for example, in my case, it was analytics. Okay, like I said, I didn't come from a very marketing background, or Google products मैंने कभी देखे भी नहीं थे. I never worked on Google ads. So you have to be very clear in first of all why you are changing. मतलब finance से क्यों उठ के तुम्हें marketing में जाना है? Because obviously you would have thought through that. And you have to have a very solid reason ki why you are changing your domains altogether. Then second, if you are going into marketing, then why should they hire you, and why not someone who already has some experience?
Exactly.
So if you are clear on these 2 points, then they should be able to hire you. I have seen people in my team who came from like you said, industrial engineering background, then no exposure to marketing.
Okay.
So, but they were taken because they had the aptitude. And तो होता क्या है, even if let's say you are interested in marketing, you can still start building those skill sets. You can either do some course which will show that definitely you are some serious about changing domains,
Yeah.
or if you're interested in digital marketing, तो digital में तो और बहुत कुछ कर सकते हो. You
Right.
can build your entire digital profile. You can say कि मेरे इतने सारे followers हैं Instagram पे, और I do a lot of these things. मेरे YouTube followers हैं, मेरे LinkedIn followers हैं, or I write questions, or I write answers on Quora, and I have these many upvotes and ये वो. So all these add to your profile. Even if you're not coming from that background, that still shows कि हाँ बंदे का interest है इस side में.
All right.
So वो थोड़ा दिखाना पड़ेगा through all those things. So very clearly why you're changing domain, and second, what can you add into that job. So this is something that I always tell कि जब भी when you're reading job description है, उसको scan करके अच्छे से make a list कि what are the skill sets that you already possess, which are required by the job, and what are the skill sets that you don't have, for which you need to work on.
All right.
So if you do that kind of a study, अगर तुमने अच्छे से prepare किया है, then you can get through.
All right. In simple words, sir is trying to say that before doing marketing for organizations, try to market your own self to them. Right?
Correct.
All right. So you need to be a good marketer. So being a marketer, you should understand how to sell your own self to the companies. That's really very, very important in this case. All right. So,
Correct.
We talked about skill sets. So according to you, if a particular candidate who is interested in marketing domain and wants himself or herself to be recruited in particular marketing, let's suppose in Google, so what do you suggest? Like, do you know any some sort of certifications or courses, or like some resume tips that might be beneficial for students? Can you elaborate on this?
Certifications.
Yeah, like certifications are required or plays a major like big role in getting themselves placed or not?
I wouldn't say it plays a major role, but it definitely add value to your resume, because it shows that chalo theek hai, you are serious about that domain. Obviously, the practical experience would always be valued more than any of these theoretical certifications.
Okay.
But if you've done some certification, then it showcases कि चलो तुम्हें थोड़ा idea आ जाता है कि ये क्या world है, क्या दुनिया है. ठीक है. So let's say if we talk about digital marketing, there are a lot of digital courses and digital marketing certifications available online today, and many of these courses and certifications are free also. So for example, if you go for Google Digital Unlocked, yeah, Google Skill Shop, then you have HubSpot के content marketing course, you have SEM Rush, SEO Toolkit, I think Microsoft Advertising, Facebook Blueprint, और ये सब freely available है.
All right.
So if you are genuinely curious and you want to learn, you can go through all these certificates and learn yourself. Then उसके बाद क्या कर सकते हो, तुम्हारा blog बनाना free है, you can create your own blog. You can link your blog to a free analytics account. You can start doing some experimentation. So थोड़ा करोगे, खुद से सीखोगे, तो I think you'll learn a lot more. So basically you'll be applying what you learned in these certifications practically.
Yeah.
And Facebook pay also you can create your own campaigns. There's nothing stopping you. You can spend some money, you can learn, create those campaigns, run those campaigns, learn from your mistakes. So once you do all of that, so when you're appearing in those interviews, you're a lot more confident, and then you can also you have like a proof of work to showcase कि हाँ मैंने ये किया है.
Right.
ठीक है. So it adds value to your profile.
Right. Even
so certifications करना एक अलग बात है. Like if you're doing certifications well and good, it gives you like a theoretical understanding, but if you're able to apply it practically, then that's great.
Right. Like me myself, I'm having an experience over this. Like while I was being interviewed by IIM Shillong, while I was there for my mission, so they also asked me like, what do you have like what is there in yourself, like what is something unique about you. So I told them like I am having interest in stock market, so I'm also running a YouTube channel along with. So I like with time developed my interest and also started my YouTube channel in the midway of the first lockdown due to COVID.
Hmm.
So that made
Hmm.
a great impression for me to them. So I think it is very much beneficial having your own set of interest that you put into blogs and other channels. So I think this is very much beneficial.
Correct. Plus आजकल तो काफी exposure है यार. I mean, in our times, like I did my MBA in I think 2012 or 13. तो मेरे को लगता है मैंने time waste ही किया है वहाँ पे. Because we didn't had so much of exposure like you guys have today. Like the young people who join organization these days, I find them to be really smart, and I wish I was that smart at that age. Like for example, you are doing all these podcasts at this age. उस समय हमको तो पता भी नहीं होता था पॉडकास्ट क्या होता है, तो हम लोग तो टाइम वेस्ट ही करते थे कॉलेज में. वी डिडंट हैड अ सिंगल डिजिटल मार्केटिंग का कोर्स बाय द वे इन आवर एंटायर करिकुलम. आई थिंक सिर्फ एक कोर्स था सोशल मीडिया पे, दैट्स इट, एंड दैट टू बिकॉज उस समय वो नया नया आया था. ठीक है, तो एटलीस्ट यू गाइस आर डूइंग अ ग्रेट जॉब. तुम पॉडकास्ट कर रहे हो, सो व्हेन यू आर अपीयरिंग फॉर इंटरव्यूज यू कैन ऑलवेज शो देम कि देखो मेरे वीडियोस हैं यूट्यूब पे एंड आई हैव बीन डूइंग दिस. सो ऑब्वियसली दैट एड्स वैल्यू. वी नेवर हैड दैट काइंड ऑफ एन एक्सपोजर एट आवर एज. So जो लोग आजकल
but you must be doing
so I just say कि जो लोग टाइम पास कर रहे हैं कॉलेज में, I think they should move over those watching reels and TikTok videos and do something substantial in their life.
Like that is much beneficial in that case, I do believe.
Correct.
Like even most of the youngsters are not even youngsters, like even my mom is so much into reels and all TikTok and everything. So I think the generation have been shifted to news, Economic Times, Hindu, to TikTok and all reel segment. This is a like gradual shift.
But that is helpful. That is helpful if you're able to use that. And let's say if you are creating your own reels and then your own videos, then definitely it is helpful. But if you're just consuming content and not doing anything about it, then it is not helpful.
Right. All right. That's great. Okay, so like coming forward to I received lots of questions. Like there are many students who are interested in marketing, but unfortunately they get themselves placed for their summer internship program into finance or let's suppose product management. So what do you suggest them, like should they withdraw their SIP from the companies they are interning with, or they just continue with them and with time they just pursue their skill sets and also pursue some courses that you recommended meanwhile to get themselves placed in marketing domain for the final placements?
I think first of all they should ask themselves if they had interest in marketing, then why did they choose another domain for their summer internship? Like obviously I never had summer internship because मेरा 1 year course था. But if they did that, then they should ask that question कि why did they choose that in the first place?
Right.
और अगर कर लिया है, then I don't see a reason of withdrawing. But then they should be prepared to answer those questions on and be very honest about it. Why did they choose that particular stream? What did they not like about that stream?
Right.
Why do they like marketing? Why do they want to do marketing? And वही जो हमने पहले discuss किया था, prepare on the sidelines of वही marketing, do courses, do some practical experience, do some other online internships. आजकल तो online internships इतने सारे हैं. You can world has moved to digital. So if they are genuinely interested in marketing, they'll definitely find some opportunity. So I don't see that as a hindrance, but they should be prepared for all those questions coming their way कि marketing में interest है तो फिर finance क्यों किया, या product management क्यों किया, और फिर वहाँ से यहाँ पे क्यों आना है, अगर वहाँ पे बोर हो गए तो यहाँ पे भी बोर हो जाओगे क्या. So if they are able to showcase that नहीं मेरे को पूरा interest है and मेरे को genuinely करना है, then I think it should be all good.
Got it. Like सबसे पहले find your interest. अगर interest नहीं समझ आ रहा तो go for your internship in any domain you feel like. Then once you are into that domain, try to work in that domain and try to understand your likings and disliking. So with time you will able to understand if that domain suits you or interests you. And if not, then needed to worry, your final placements are still secured. Try to figure out by as many as podcasts you see, as many people you talk to, you converse. Try to avail lots of learnings opportunities. Like there are lots of opportunities in availing learnings these days. In source of, there are like many sources of medium of knowledge. So I think
करेक्ट. और हो सकता है तुम्हें वही डोमेन पसंद आ जाए.
क्या पता.
So be
Like,
open. So
right,
be open. I mean, don't go with that fixed mindset कि यार मुझे मार्केटिंग करना था लेकिन मैं तो फाइनेंस में फंस गया.
right.
Go with that open mindset. Try to learn that. हो सकता है वो तुम्हारे काम आ जाए, तुम्हें पसंद आ जाए.
Like
Like I said, right, I never planned to be in the marketing space.
I was about to
Uh,
say this.
but then slowly and slowly I got into it. I never thought कि I would enjoy this.
Right. Who knows
अगर
this?
ऐसा सोचा होता तो फिर मैं भी सारे इलेक्टिव लेता मार्केटिंग के. मैंने नहीं ली.
It is strange, like बिना elective लिए marketing के, you are sitting in Google as a delivery manager under marketing. It is strange for all of us, I'm sure. But definitely you are
वही
having
बोला ना,
the upper
उतना
end.
उस पर बहुत ज्यादा फोकस करने की जरूरत नहीं है.
Okay, got it. We understand it. All right. Okay, so well, coming to the point, let's suppose you are an interviewer and I am a student, and we are conducting an interview for marketing domain. So it's our final placement. I come to you. So what exactly, what exactly you look into me? So I we would really like to know about it. Like what an interviewer have an like site. What site an interview have?
Yeah, I cannot comment about others, but I look into 4 5 things.
All right.
One is if the person is genuine or not. So you have to be very authentic in that entire interview.
Okay.
Do not fake it.
All right.
Because सामने वाला बहुत एक्सपीरियंस है, उसको समझ में आ जाता है कि बंदा कब झूठ बोल रहा है, कब सच बोल रहा है. So be very candid.
Okay.
Right? So to give you my example, when I was switching from, let's say, Mu Sigma to Tesco,
Yeah.
I was very honest in saying कि यार मेरे को काम बहुत अच्छा लगता है मेरा वहाँ पे, but I need to get married, so I need to change my job because I cannot survive with that kind of a work culture going ahead. So there you show कि you are being very genuine and candid. ठीक है? So even when I was moving from, let's say, Tesco to Google, and they asked me in a few interviews कि why did you apply for Google? So I was very honest in saying कि मैंने apply नहीं किया था, your team reached out to me.
Right. Like people
ठीक
do
है? So
think
you
that,
have to be. हाँ, तो people then appreciate that genuineness and that authenticity, because अगर आप fake करोगे तो वो पता चल जाता है सामने वाले को.
क्योंकि
Then
students को ऐसा
second I would
भी,
say,
मैं बीच में बस एक चीज बोलना चाहता हूँ. स्टूडेंट्स को ऐसा भी
बोलो
लगता है
बोलो.
कि इंटरव्यूअर कहीं रूड ना सोच ले, इस चीज को रूड इंटरसेप्ट ना कर ले. कि जैसे अभी आपके केस में आपने बोला कि मैंने कोई अप्लाई नहीं किया था गूगल में, बट गूगल टीम अप्रोच्ड मी. सो ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि इंटरव्यूअर जो है, वो जो इंटरव्यू ले रहे हैं हमारा, वो काफी रूड फील करे कि ही सो रूड. इजंट इट लाइक दैट?
नहीं यार, तो डिपेंड करता है ना कि आप किस टोन में बोल रहे हो.
ओके.
Your tone also matters ना at that point of time. या funny tone में बोल रहे हो या आप गुस्से वाले tone में बोल रहे हो. तो अगर मैं if I'm saying in a tone कि जहाँ पे I'm reflecting that proud kind of a behavior, then obviously it'll fall bad.
Okay.
But if you say that with humbleness, saying कि यार I never applied for it, but I got a call, and because it was coming from Google, I was genuinely interested in looking at the entire process and कि आगे क्या है, मेरे को जानना था.
That's a point. Okay.
Right. So your tone also matters, like how you're conveying your ideas.
Right. Oh, got it. Yes.
So that is ये हो गया. Then second I think is flexibility.
Okay.
By that I mean, like we were discussing earlier, right? A lot of people they'll just say कि मेरे को marketing करना है, and they're not very flexible to look at other areas. Or not even in this case like other areas, but genuinely also you shouldn't be very rigid in those interviews.
Okay.
people should see you as someone की जो flexible है, because organizations में priorities change होती हैं, आपके team members change होते हैं, आपके projects change होते हैं. So if you are very rigid, which then it would simply mean कि if we throw you into a new situation, you would not be able to handle that.
Got it.
Correct. So you should showcase कि आप flexible हो, आप नई चीजें सीख सकते हो, और even if you have tried out different things in the past and if it didn't work out, you learned from them.
Got it.
ठीक है, learning is more important than कई लोग तो failures accept ही नहीं करते. तो I don't think accepting failures is a bad thing, but then you should also showcase कि उसमें से learning क्या हुआ आपका. So that is another thing which I appreciate. Then obviously positive attitude. बंदा team player है कि नहीं है. How is his or her communication style, and finally वो ethics. कितना ethical है बंदा. Does that person appreciate others' viewpoints or not? So all these kind of things. So I think all of these things generally matter, apart from obviously your core skills.
Got it. Okay, so at first you need to be very much candid. So that is again, I think, like me as a student, I know many other students also, they sometimes fake it in front of in front of interviewer that they are this, they are that, but the actual personality they did not show actually in the interviews. So this is like materialistic world.
Correct.
This is again a materialistic world who are eager to get into a job. So at first you need to be very much candid.
Which I understand. Which I understand. But then you have to be authentic, yeah, because सामने वाला भी काफी experience है, so you should value their experience. उनके सामने आप बोलोगे कि नहीं मेरे को तो, let's say you're appearing for a digital marketing के base level job and then you start faking कि मेरे को तो सब आता है, then obviously वो सामने वाला पकड़ लेता है. Then why are you giving that person a chance to screw you over? If you are being authentic and saying कि मेरे को इतना ही आता है, बाकी is something that I can learn, and I've also shown, let's say, learning attitude in the past because I've learned these many new things which I never used to do earlier. So then वो सामने वाला आप पे चांस लेता है कि ठीक है इसका एटीट्यूड है, ये सीख जाएगा.
Okay. All right. So I think we would really be interested to know like last minute tips from your side, from your end. Last minute tips to the students who are watching this video right now.
On what? Overall?
In overall context, in any context.
Yeah, I would say if you're talking about digital marketing, like I said before, digital marketing is a very dynamic industry wherein one is expected to learn and be updated about new technologies constantly, right? So if you are that far-sighted and if you are curious, it will add bonus to your digital marketing career. Okay. So genuinely read करो, आप like आसपास सब कुछ क्या हो रहा है. You have so much material available on YouTube. Watch different ads. Try to learn from different ads. Follow different blogs. Do these different online courses. You'll get to learn what is the difference between so many mediums that we have on digital today. Why should someone advertise on Amazon? Why should someone advertise on LinkedIn versus Facebook? So if you show this genuine curiosity to learn and if you're updated on all the new trends, then I think you should be decent enough if you're looking for those starting career jobs in the digital domain.
Okay. Got it. We understand it. So I think we can call it a day because at first we would like to thank you for getting on board for this podcast. And I would like to let the audience know that Mr. Ishan have recently recovered from COVID. Still, he manages time out from the Google and also from his out of health. He is with us, and it was a really insightful session for all of us. I believe, whatever I gathered, whatever in knowledge or insights I gathered, I would like to call it in a particular line. So the line is that I recently made is: your talent determines what you can do. Your motivation determines how much you're willing to do. Your attitude determines how well you do it. So I think I along with the audience must have learned a lot from you. So we would like to thank you for getting on board.
Thanks, Chandan. I also learned a lot during this entire discussion. I'll remember that line. मैं कभी कहीं use करूँगा वो. That's your talent, attitude वाला line. So thanks for having me over. I hope it was helpful to everyone. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, sir.